Hello, and welcome to another edition of One Bad Veggies Root Beer Review, where in this review we find out if blondes really do have more fun. So here we are in the second half of the Oak Creek duology of terror. Barrel aged duality. I don't know. The double barrel aged thing. Anyway, you get the point. It's the second review for Oak Creek in a row. Like I said, wanted to do both of them in a row. Now, normally I wouldn't do this. Normally, if like a root beer says, let's go with Frosty from last week, right? Or I guess it was yesterday. But let's go with Frosty. Frosty has Frosty and it has Vanilla Frosty, right? And why wouldn't I do those two together like that? Or like the Ramblin' trilogy that I did. Actually, now I realize that I'm a hypocrite and I don't know why I'm doing it this way, now that I say that. But no, I just thought it was interesting because the thing is that with this one being that it's the Oak Creek Blonde, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a different flavor than the regular Oak Creek. It just means that it's blonde, and I'm curious to see if there are any differences in the ingredients or the flavor or anything like that. Like, are they just two of the same thing, just different colors, and or ebony and ivory, or is it or are they two completely different drinks? Let's find out. Let's go ahead and get into the ingredients. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the ingredients, which should be appearing right here. And with these ones, you can see, if you've seen the previous review for the original Oak Creek, ingredients are nearly the same, except for one huge difference. Brown sugar, which, as you can see on the bottle at the bottom there, 25% brown sugar, 75% real sugar, which, you know, brown sugar is technically real sugar too, but you get the point. It's regular sugar, cane sugar. I'm assuming cane sugar. We kind of discussed this last time. And brown sugar, which in my experience, brown sugar is usually really good inside of a root beer. So at the very least, we can assume that the flavor will be similar, right? Or not similar, it will be different. That's the exact opposite of what I meant to say. It'll be a different flavor. But otherwise, similar kind of vibe going on here. More mature, I would say, than your average root beer. Kind of looks almost like a beer or a liquor bottle or something like that, which makes a lot of sense because of the barrel age thing. I'll tell you what, after the last one, which I really enjoyed, gave it a B. Man, I am kind of excited about this one. I was excited about the last one, and I'm more excited about this one because I did not realize that it had brown sugar in it, and brown sugar usually makes a root beer taste really good, in my opinion. Brown sugar and actually molasses has seemed to be another one that tends to make a root beer taste a lot better, at least to my palate. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the scent and see how it smells. All right, last time I learned that I popped it open, it was a twist top. Let's see if I can embarrass myself by not being able to open this one. Okay. Yep, I'm a weak, sad man. Let's go ahead and pop it open. If I can even do that. I am having issues. There we go. Got it open. All right. Go ahead and take a sniff. Okay, so a similar scent, which, let's be real, not unexpected, right? You would expect two root beers that are similar from the same company to smell the same. I will say that the brown sugar doesn't stand out in the scent. And I will say that the aged smokiness is definitely on the forefront. Something else kind of interesting too is, and I said this in the last review too, and I didn't really mention it when I was talking about the scent last time, but this is true for both of these. I think because of the aged barrel and everything like that, I think that vanilla is also another strong scent that kind of pops up in both of these, actually. the flavor itself, it's definitely there, but it's definitely it's strong in the scent, because again, like I said, because I think because of the smokiness kind of brings out vanilla. And I said before that when you age vanilla, it also makes vanilla stronger, so I think that's a big part of it too. But otherwise, let's go ahead and check the pour in the foam now. I'm interested in this actually, so I'll talk about it when we get there. Let's go ahead and just get to the pour in the foam. So here we are again with our best friend, the trusty mug. And the thing I was going to say before we went over here is I'm super curious on how this one's going to foam, because the last one had that interesting thing where it didn't look like it was going to foam at all. Then it went up and then it stayed. Not a super tall head on it, but interesting. It's just interesting. Anyway, so let's do this. Let's go. So that's almost like a Sprite or something like that, but it's got a better head on it. That almost foam. Like, look at that. I mean, the foam is stained. It almost looks like a beer or something, right? That's super interesting to me. Oh my goodness, this thing keeps beeping. Super interesting to me. And the head's still there, so let's go ahead and try it. So different than the last one. This one, the last one I said the foam kind of gave more hints of the smoky kind of aged flavor to it. This one actually, I can taste a lot of vanilla, and I can taste the brown sugar actually in it. As far as foam goes, it's actually a pretty tasty foam. But yeah, I always like to talk about how foam tends to give you the hints of almost what you're going to get in your aftertaste. And maybe as you're drinking it, kind of what's going to kind of like hit you when you first take your first drink. It's not necessarily going to be the thing that you taste on your tongue as you're drinking it and everything like that. But it's kind of, a lot of times the foam is the hint of what you're going to be tasting after you're done, right? So, which I think that's fantastic for this one so far. So, let's go ahead and get into the taste test. Bottoms up. So a lot of root beers taste the same, right? I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say they taste the same, but they give off a similar vibe. You might get little twists in the idea here and there, but if I give a root beer a C, it probably doesn't taste super dissimilar to another root beer that I also give a C. So that's kind of what I mean. So the fact that a root beer company could make two root beers that both kind of follow the same idea, but also have two distinct different flavors is kind of remarkable. What I'll say about this one's a little bit more on the sweeter side. Whereas with the dark or the original or however you want to call it, that one kind of hits you in the face with the aged smokiness of it. This one it does not do the same thing. It's definitely more in the flavor than the other one was. Is a good way I'd put it. This one's definitely, whereas before I said the other one had a balance of flavors of your normal root beer flavors that were just good, this one definitely leans a little bit more on the vanilla side, which I can't say anything bad about that. That's definitely a thing I enjoy quite a bit. I will say similarly though to the other one, it's not a flavor that's going to blow you away and be like, wow, this tastes like nothing I've ever had before. But what it does taste like is very, very good. It's very interesting to me that I am finding with both of these Oak Creek root beers is that they give me the same vibe of being like unique, but also not unique at the same time. The aged barrel flavor and stuff like that, that smokiness is the thing that makes it unique. But when you're actually drinking it, there's nothing about it that's gonna make you go like, oh wow, that's really crazy. I'll even say too, like I was excited because it has brown sugar in it, and you can taste the brown sugar, but it's not like, you know, it says it's 25% brown sugar and 75% cane sugar. I almost wish they did it 50-50. Personally, I love the taste of brown sugar in a root beer, and I think if you actually increase it a smidge, it would be even better. You can definitely taste it, but it's not there. It doesn't, how do I put it? It doesn't change the flavor enough, again, like I said, to make it taste super unique, but it does taste good, and it is definitely there. So, you know, and the other interesting thing, just while I'm here, I'll say that the carbonation, right? I don't want to call it a bite necessarily, but the carbonation on this one was interesting because it reminded me more of like a 7-Up or a Sprite or something like that. Like not maybe as harsh as those two specifically, but it's definitely more so than most root beers that you try. It's got that clear soda kind of fizziness to it, and I'm not saying that's a negative or a positive in either way, because it doesn't really affect my review, but I did notice it. It was interesting, and it kind of has the same texture as a clear soda, which, you know, if you've had a Coca-Cola and a 7-Up, you know the difference between the textures of those two things. Coca-Cola almost is kind of thicker in a way, and that's kind of the same here too. The darker root beers got a thicker texture than the blonde. So, and yeah, that's really all I really have to say about the flavor, the taste itself. So let's go ahead and get into the grade. So when talking about the flavor and everything, like I said, it's interesting that both of these are both unique and also not super unique. It's really kind of like going in is the uniqueness, right? Although I did say with the blonde, you do kind of get the smoky flavor more on the tongue than on the way in, which is the opposite of the way that the dark one was. The dark one was much more, you get hit with it on the way in, and it kind of goes away once you start tasting it. Anyway, but there's similarities against their differences or whatever. I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm giving this one a B2, because though it is different, it is not better necessarily. It is still excellent root beer, but it's not better. It's not better than the a regular one. It's super cool because like you could get a 6-pack of this, and you could get a 6-pack of the regular, and you're having two different experiences, both of them great experiences, and they taste different enough, like that you know, you could find yourself definitely preferring one over the other. Myself, I honestly, it almost feels like it would matter on the day which one I would prefer, because there is a lightness almost to the blonde over the regular one. You know, like I was saying, it gives you almost like a Sprite or a 7-Up vibe while you're drinking it, but it tastes like root beer, of course. But just kind of like the softness, I guess, of those sodas, even though they're very harsh carbonated, they still refreshing's a word that I would put it. Like I would say that the blonde is a more refreshing drink than the regular, but both of them are great. So I guess that's really it. So yeah, B. And that is it for this one. So hopefully we can get back on a regular schedule at this point, and I won't miss anymore. I have no more vacation days coming up, and hopefully the next week or so won't be super busy where I can find a time to you know, do my regular reviews. Not that they take very long to do. It's mostly, you know, it's just timing. I'm being tired. Anyway, like and subscribe and comment, and don't do any of those things as if you don't want to. Just enjoy the videos. And other than that, I hope you had a good time.